commence with an introduction, and this introduction will start with the media team. The microphone will be passed round. We invite you to introduce yourself and your media, and we continue from there afterwards. We'll keep the introductions for during the Q&A. So why we want to ask a question, introduce ourselves and our media. We'll go straight to, I'd like to have the honor to introduce to us the CEO,
who is honorably absent. And next to him is my chairman, it's Kiari Boga. And next is a board member, Mrs. Wono Adechayo. But my immediate right, it's a man who's put all this together as
my own assessment has gone on very well. Of course, there are a lot of people who have had a lot of high level of stress, but at the end of the day, most of the feedback we have received so far are ringing endorsement of the type of success that we have managed to achieve. And in no measure, this is a fear that we needed to have. Our last two summits were sector-specific, education and agri. But what we have is that this time around, looking at what has recently happened, to be specific, the last elections, we felt that we can assist the government in setting proper directions when it comes to economic development matters. And therefore the theme which we have chosen is quite appropriate to the kind of engagement that the private sector ought to have with government. So in that regard, the discourses that have taken place, the discussions, and of course some of the cases or examples shared of countries that have gone through similar challenges and they have overcome those challenges via concerted effort, visionary leadership, and execution. Execution is key in achieving whatever objectives you want to achieve. A friend of mine sent me a message last night. He said, God does not come down and build roads and puts in electricity plants, etc., etc. He had an entire long list. And he was saying that, you know, we are a very prayerful nation. However, looking at what has happened, and I believe that he must be streaming, looking at it from across another part of the world. And he said, look, what you guys need to do is follow up. And following up is what the Nigerian Economic Summit Group collectively has agreed to do. Because this is something that is fundamental in transforming our country, in achieving some of the objectives that we have set out for ourselves, that we have already communicated NES 22. You know, the beauty of doing something well is that the expectations go higher. And so NES 22, by God's grace, is October 11 to October 13, 2016. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we expect to see you and maybe drag on some of your colleagues that have missed this fantastic show so that they don't miss it again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. The summit is jointly planned by the private and public sector, the public sector represented by the National Planning Commission. We invite the Secretary of the National Planning Commission, ably represented here, by the co-chair of the Planning Committee, Mr. Tunde Lawa, for his comments.
Thank you very much, MC. I'd like to join the chairman of the NESG in, first of all, thanking you, media executives, because in the last 5 years, I've been involved in this summit process. And I must say that in terms of numbers, in terms of participation, this is one of the best summits I've ever attended. Even though the arrangement for this summit, the preparation process started very late in view of obviously what it was an election year and so on. But even at that, in terms of participation, from the resource persons up until the participants, it was excellent, and the level of engagement was indeed very, very high. We expect that this was doable because of your support, and we do expect that going forward, even as the chairman has announced the date for the next summit, you would continue to assist us, not only letting people know that the next summit will take place in October 11 to 13, 2016, but also in disseminating the outcomes of the current summit to the general public. I must say that this year's summit, and you will also have acknowledged that it's very unique because the team focuses mainly on areas where the current administration is placing emphasis on. We listened to the presentations, especially on scenarios on the economy. We will see that some of the recommendations, the key assumptions on the one, closely ties up with some of the assumptions which we even got from the joint presentation from the Director General Budget Office and indeed the Secretary to the Commission today. So that shows we're all moving in the right direction. It also provided opportunity for us, the Presidency, Mr. Vice President, and indeed to share, experience on what we're doing in government, what the government is doing, especially with respect to reforming institutions and transforming this economy. So to us, this summit is very useful, and like you saw a few hours ago, the report of the summit has been formally presented by the chairman of the NESG to the representative of Mr. President, that's the SG, who himself said that if this had come earlier, it could have been taken to the National Economic Council. But again, this is what the National Planning Minister will do. Efforts will be made to take it to the Federal Executive Council and indeed the National Economic Council, as has been done in the past. And with that, I do believe that most of the recommendations that summiteers have made this year will be taken on board, will be examined by government, and of course, mechanisms will be put in place to ensure effective implementation of those recommendations. Once again, I'd like to thank you for coming, and we look forward to hearing some comments or additional suggestions from you, gentlemen of the press. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We do submissions from the representative of the Secretary. We'll go straight to the question and answers. We'd like to take this section in batches. We'll take a batch of 3 questions first. We take responses to those, then we continue afterwards. Yeah. Mr. Emmanuel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gentleman. My name is Emmanuel Ohemohai. I work with AIG. Almost 20 years, Nigerian Economic Summit has been on. And one question that keeps reoccurring in this year is how impactful are the summit's decisions on government policy decisions? So how impactful is the summit generally on life in Nigeria, especially economic life in Nigeria? And I know that I was watching it live on TV when Madam was trying to defend some questions. But it probably would have been easier if the summit comes out with a list of what has come out of this summit that we can see today that has made life easier. Because people keep asking, this is Nigeria Economic Summit, what impact does it make? But when we see at least, okay, this was what we did 2 years or 3 years ago, this is how it is working right now, then people will be able to measure, there will be a better measurement of the success of this summit. Because we want to go to a point, we're talking of change now. We want to go to a point where we'll be able to measure success and performance success very well. Thank you.
Matthias, please.
Thank you. I'd like to join the chairman in thanking you for the successful summit. I have number one is I don't know this October timetable that we have. Can it change in such a way that we have this summit earlier, so that the provisions of the recommendations that come out of this summit can be captured in the budget, the planning of the budget year. And the National Planning Director, you said that you've been attending a bit for the 5 days, and we've been hearing this from you that yes, this recommendation mechanisms will be put in place to see how we apply them. Yet we don't see these things working, and that is where we are now. We are talking of going to recession. I mean, how are you going to do it differently this time around? So to ensure that we actually have these things captured, because I'm not sure we are ready for ideas. I think the problem we'll be having is the willpower to really implement this thing. Maybe you want to share with us the plans that you want to do differently now to ensure that this will not just gather here each year and be talking at the end of the day, nothing concerns. The digital, I have a concern to raise about the media and coverage of issues. I'm sure you also attend the international conferences like the World Economic Summit, the IMF conference. We have gone past the stage that we used to cover this summit. We should have, you have media team during summits like this. You can, maybe you can discuss with the media house, take a reporter, an editor, each from one of these, from major facilities that will be here to be attending to space them in all the policy committees that where the discussions are going on. Because as journalists here, particularly those of us that are in Abuja here, we still have other things to do outside this summit when it's holding. So, and you will be everywhere. So these journalists that are working with you for maybe 1 or 2 months, you send them there, every session they bring reports, and you create a website where you be posting this report. So that even journalists that are not here, that are in Lagos everywhere, can access them and take this in. That's what we see in World Bank and all those international conferences. And also to make these coverages live. So that I think you are here as a journalist writing, or you can still be watching what is transpiring in some of these sessions. So maybe we should take that into consideration so that it will help us to cover this thing well, and also help you to tell your own story the way you want to. Thank you very much.
We take the last person.
My name is Leah Katim Babatunde, commenting. I Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations because over the years, this is one of the summits we get to the closing, and we see that it's not just journalists that are left in the world down there. It's a well-researched and announced. I want to really take it at the point of inclusive growth we've been championing for quite some time. And I will first of all advise that when a theme is picked, we should have the theme as a forerunner circulate to every media house so that we can build reports around it. Like the theme for this year, we didn't get it in good time. So the timing was not enough for us to build reports preparatory to the summit. In fact, by Monday, I didn't have anything to give my office again when they asked me for something to give them. Then while we talk about the growth emphasis we are having that is not inclusive, I think from the submission of the SJ, we have to also take a proper look at what is happening in terms of security. We're being challenged all over the country. The Northeast, the story of the Northeast, if you've not been there, you will not believe what any other person is saying. The story of the Middle Belt, if you have not been there, you will find it so hard to swallow. Last year, the former governor of Benue State actually had headsmen shooting at him and his convoy. That I can tell you authoritatively because we have the clips of that, but it's not something you can show to the world to say this is what is happening. We now have the situations that just came up also in Lagos, daylight robbery. How can we actually invest and go home and speak in peace with what we have on the ground? Now, these governors involved in this case having this crisis, how will this material be given to them and ensure that they actually take suggestions from here and impart them on their people? Because when we sit down here, enjoy our ACs and eat our food and go home, and then the people who are directly involved, the local farmers out there and the rural producers, if they are not carried along, I think it might just be a mere waste of time if they don't get the outcome. Thank you.
Can we take it? The first, Emmanuel, I think I thought you've been along with us for quite a while. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, I can just list quite a number of initiatives that this country has embarked upon. Those were recommendations and inputs from the NESG. Clear and simple one that has impacted every Nigerian's life: privatization. Yeah, there might be some that the cynic in us might say, yeah, it was handed over to a friend of a friend or whatever. But at the end of the day, private competition helps changes the landscape, and it has done so in the telecom sector. I hope and pray it will happen in the do things sustainably, not run an entity to the ground because they don't care who comes after them to run the show. So in those regards, we've been engaged with government, and the conversation really is Nigeria. And we do very, very strongly feel that that's why we are doing these things and pushing and making it impactful. If it is not, no, I do understand. And it is something that we do feel that we need to have you guys tell that story, because you have the power that the rest of us don't, which is the power to connect with the average citizen. On the gentleman from Guardian, I think I'll leave it to the secretary to touch on that. But having said that, the reason behind choosing of this at this time is that if you have noticed, previously we leave the press briefing without mentioning a specific date. I think this is also a first. The fact that 12 months from now, same week, we're going to have the summit. That way, there will not be an excuse given to anybody about diary clash or neck meeting or whatever. You can plan around that once you have it in your calendar. And we would have given you 12 months notice to anyone, right? So let people diarize that, and then we will also constantly send reminders so that both the private sector and the public sector should be in the know, so that by the time we come closer to the date, our jobs would be easier in terms of reminding and putting people on the notice. And the feedback you have given is fantastic. We would look at that. The CEO may take that and comment on it, because it's in the plans. Because if you have noticed, for the first time, we have an app that people can download rather than carry the big handbook on the program. You can actually be going through it on your phone or iPad or whatever you may have used to downloading the app. And I think more and more engagement and using the various channels, social media, the internet, etc., would actually make for better engagement with the media as well as with the greater population.